Okay. Just need to get vases in the right spot. There it is. And fixed. Okay. Sweet. Got everybody here. Awesome. I have no idea who joined in first. Do anyone remember who was in Fantasy Grounds first? Because I was away from my computer.
It tells you in chat.
Oh, does it? Oh. Yep.
You can see their name.
Oh, so it did. Viz, you were first. Go ahead and roll a D100. $62. All right. Let's see what we got here.
Way to ruin the fun, Ross. I was gonna keep quiet.
You know we both kind of get off on crapping on each other's fun in a sick way.
Alright, so looks like the question today is, do you feel like the gods are watching you? Kind of an odd question. And that can be in watching you in a good way or watching you in a bad way, really. I'll give you a minute to ponder.
Yeah. Of course they're watching me.
Yeah? Boom? What kind of... in like a good way or a bad way, do you think?
At minimum, I will be a peer to them one day. At minimum. So of course they're watching me.
Alright. Alright. How about Jinku? You got something?
I think Jinku is more logical mind. I don't think she's really into the whole god thing at all. She's more what she can actually see in front of her, more of a scientific mind.
Okay. So you just don't really care.
Yeah, just want to beat shit up.
Okay. Alright. Blossom, how about you?
If they are, they're bored as piss.
Okay. How about you, Zaira?
Yes, but rarely is it that they care to notice.
Alright. And Mix.
Sorry, I got muted somehow.
You're good. I can hear you now. You're good.
What was the question?
Oh, you couldn't hear me. The question was, do you think the gods are watching you in a good or bad way?
I would say most definitely, considering I'm the son of a god. So
That's fair. That's fair. All right.
Peer at minimum.
All right. Anyone want to give a little recap of what happened last time since it's been a little bit? Shenanigans.
We got the tools, and there was fire.
There was.
We got away because the kids stole the carriage.
Yeah.
That's right, they did, huh?
Yeah, you weren't very happy with them.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. We attended the gala. We pulled off the heist. Got the tools. Set a fire.
Cool.
Managed to get away when our orphans stole the carriage. Sorry.
Borrowed.
Carriage.
We were the best little orphans.
All right. Well, that's a pretty good short little summary of what happened. Heist success. Tools in hand. So I guess at this point, we would be kind of waking up the next morning, got away, got back to Troll Skull, waking up the next morning in Troll Skull, got these tools in hand. What are you all going to do with these, since you made out with them successfully?
Well, guys, I suggest that we go give these tools to the carpenter as fast as possible. I don't want them around here any longer than necessary.
They'll use the tools here and make them come to us. Then we don't have to transport them. That feels dangerous.
They are only 2 houses down from you.
So have we all reunited now? Because I had left before anyone else.
You had. At this point, we're saying it's the next morning, so you've all made your way back to the manor together. You know, at varying times throughout the night, you guys made it there. And, you know, had a good rest because the excitement of the night. You know, coupled with the, you know, the heist itself, you guys had a, you know, good chunk of, you know, work that you guys were actually doing over there. So, a rest is definitely worth. Here, we'll give you guys the alley here. So yeah, so you guys are currently in the manor. The Bent Nail, which is the place a couple houses down to the east of Troll Skull, is Talasovar's place. And it was his like brother-in-law that was the one who was a no good drunk and got himself into this mess, and is the leather worker whose the tools belong to. So yeah, if you want, you can send someone to try to bring him over here. You guys can just head that way since it's just a couple houses down. Up to you guys.
Let's send one of the kids to go tell him that we request his present.
Okay.
By the way, do y'all think we should tell him that I knocked out his brother and drew a dick on his face?
No,
Nah.
no. That could have been anybody.
That's true. That's true. You guys did do that.
I still have one of those from that night. I didn't use
You still have a what?
one of the roofies. I didn't use mine.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
I think you and Blossom both have one. I made 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't use mine either.
Well, you can keep those in your back pocket. All right. So you send which one of the kids are you sending?
They should travel in pairs. Trust nobody, children. You and you. I'll point to the left one and send the right one, and I'll send them because I expect that they're standing in front of me by now. I've probably been lecturing them for a little bit about what they did last night. I'm disappointed in them, but I approve what they did, and I understand why they did it. But before they can eat breakfast, they need to go fetch this drunk out of bed for me.
Okay. So with that, Nat and Jenks, they head out down the street just a few doors down. Squidly kind of looks at you and says, "Well, what do you want me to do?"
Go up to the tower, and why don't you clear that out for me and get it, like, get the debris out of the way and stuff. I'm gonna start doing stuff up.
Okay. And so he heads out the back and heads up to the tower. So a few minutes later, doesn't take them too long. It's just riding down the street. You see the Nat and Jenks coming back into the door with Talisivar and his brother-in-law Horace along with him. You notice, looking at Horace, he definitely still seems a little bit hungover, kind of walking unstably. You can see there's part of his face that's all kind of smudged up, and you can see kind of a smudged outline of a dick that's on his face that somehow got on there. Someone put it there. They aren't sure who. It looks like he tried to wash it off, but it isn't
I
quite.
can't believe somebody would do that.
It's still a little bit there. So they walk in, and Talos Avaris definitely seems to be a little more alert than his brother, and he kind of looks expectantly at you all and goes, "Oh, so was it a success? I heard there was quite the commotion down there last night from my brother. He doesn't remember too much, but he said there was quite a party going on."
Yes, it was quite an eventful party.
All right. Well, that's good to hear. Eventful in a good way, I hope. Were you able to procure the tools back from the guild?
Yes, it was eventful in that way too.
Wonderful. Where are they? May I see them?
I think I have them, don't I?
Yeah, I think you did, because you split off with
Yeah.
them on your own. So you have them on your person.
Okay, so I take them out of the bag and show them to him.
Okay. So Talisvar kind of turns them over in his hands. Yes. Looks like they are all still here and in order. Horace! Look, your livelihood is back in your hands. And, don't worry, I'll help you build a safe lockbox to keep them in. We won't let the guild take them back from you again. And so he kind of turns and hands these over to Horace, who kind of holds them in his hands and kind of holds them to his chest. And, he still seems a little bit hungover, but he appears to be grateful. You can, maybe see a little bit of tears watering up in his eyes. He's really grateful for what you did for his family. Even though it was kind of his own mistake in the first place, but he's glad that things seem to be looking a little bit more up for him. So Talisivar turns back to the rest of you and says, "Well, I suppose some payment is in order here. Well, I can't offer much in the way of coin. What I can do is we can put our skills to work for you here. I think with my carpentry skills and my brother's leatherworking skills, we could probably whip up several hundred gold worth of furniture and carpentry repairs to this place."
Oh,
Well,
that's,
hop to it. Let's go. I got a business to start running.
All right. Wonderful. And so he kind of turns to his brother here, and Horace kind of nods in agreement and says, "Well, we shall return a little later today. We must gather some materials and prepare ourselves, but we'll return this afternoon, and over the course of the next few days we'll get to work sprucing up what we can in the carpentry area of this manor. We owe you greatly for this." And so they head out the door and head back down the street to the Bent Nail to get things put together for what they're going to do for you here.
it's all right with y'all. I'm going to work on the basement and start getting that cleaned up. I was thinking of doing a little alchemy lab down there so that I can make us more stuff that comes in useful.
Nice. Sounds good.
If
I'll
that's
help.
okay.
I'll help you clean up down there.
Great. Are the rest of you just all kind of busying yourselves in various ways around the manor?
Yeah, I'm working on like cleaning stuff up probably.
Okay.
It'll take a while to clean, just get it clean generally.
Oh yeah, I mean it's been sitting fallow for decades, so there's quite a bit of work that needs to be done. A few hours later, after they had left, Talasavar and Horace come back, and you start hearing the sounds of carpentry and other workings going on, and they kind of seem to have set up shop in kind of the main floor area. And as you guys are walking through in the middle of cleaning things, you can see various chairs, tables, uh, you know maybe a dresser or two, some other things getting put together, and surprisingly quick work. I mean, they are magical tools after all, and they seem to know their stuff. And it seems to be pretty nice stuff too. It's not just rudimentary carpentry you're getting here. This is some pretty fine work they seem to be doing for you, and quite a lot of it. And throughout the rest of the day, they continue working here. And, the night comes, and there's quite a lot of progress that has been made, but there definitely still seems to be a lot to be done. It looks like this will take them several days to finish this work order for you all. Is there anything particular that you guys are wanting to get up to in the next few days here while they're working on this carpentry stuff here in your place?
I'm going to be working on setting up kind of like my little lab of horrors in the basement, and I'm going to be about procuring herbs and alchemy books, stuff like that.
Okay. Well, herbs, of course, you got Kralen's Crown, which would be the local place to get that. Books, of course, there is a bookstore nearby that you guys have seen as you've been wandering around. There is the Bookworm's Treasure, which is a little bit to the west of Troll Skull, about 6 houses down. I don't think you guys have been in there yet. But, from walking past and seeing through the windows as you've gone along on the street there, it appears that is a bookstore. So that'd be the place to go for that.
I'm going to look at Booth and be like, Booth, for the children, I figured mathematics, language, stuff like that, and I could use some alchemy books on healing medicines to start making us some coin with my skills. Do you think we should pick up the mathematics books and stuff that we need to teach the children?
Oh wait, it's nearby. Let's go check it out.
All right. Sounds good. So, Boo, you and Mix, you head down the street a little ways and head up to this store. You see up above the front door, there's a sign, kind of a charming little sign. It looks like a gold dragon curled around a treasure hoard of books and scrolls. And it has the scrawl below it, the inscription of the name of the place. The Bookworm's Treasure is the name of this shop. You make your way inside, and inside the shop is decorated with quite beautiful hardwood all throughout. And there's an earthy scent, of course, of old books permeating the air. And it fills the first 2 floors of this building. Like from the outside, it's a 3-story place when you guys are walking up, and it looks like these first 2 stories are pretty packed with books. And interestingly, it seems to contain more bookshelves than you would have expected for the size of the building from the exterior. Like walking in here, it seems to extend a little farther than you think makes sense with these books. And you see there's a counter in the back, and piles of books all over the counter of sorts. It's one of those little hole-in-the-wall bookshops with just like little piles and stacks of books all over the place. Possibly in some sort of organization that maybe you don't know, but assumedly the book owner or the owner of the shop does. You see a dragonborn sitting towards the back, behind these piles of books on a kind of a desk counter of sorts. And they are wearing this kind of fine, kind of almost formal burgundy robe. And you can see that there is a little tiny pair of pince-nez glasses kind of affixed on the end of their snout. and they seem to be kind of perusing a book as you are walking into the shop.
I'm gonna walk up to him and say, "Hello, good sir. My name is Mitz Tung. Are you the proprietor of this establishment?"
The Dragonborn kind of slowly looks up from their book and kind of grabs the pince-nez glasses on one end, kind of lifts them up a little bit, and kind of adjusts them on their face, and says, "Ah, yes. I am Rishal, the page turner. Welcome to my shop. Is there anything in particular you are looking for?" Here's a picture of Rishal.
Yes, Vishal. We need some basic educational books for children. Mathematics, language, histories, that sort of thing.
Yes. Educational books, of course. And they kind of lean back in their chair and kind of bring their hands up in front of their face, kind of thinking for a moment. Says, "Ah, yes, I know just the place." And they kind of mutter something under their breath and kind of wave a hand in the air. And you see a spectral hand kind of appear in the air near them. And they kind of speed off across the shop, kind of down across the bookshelves. And it comes back a few moments later, kind of balancing a few books on top of the hand. It comes back and kind of gently sets them down on the table here, or on the desk here. And you can see, looking through them, they seem to be some, kind of rudimentary education books of various types, history, math, languages, things like that, kind of basic educational materials. It says, Are these to your liking? Please, take a look."
I'm gonna motion Booth over, and I'm gonna start looking through them, see if it's acceptable.
We also need rudimentary survival books too. We need to think of outside the box if something happens to us, right? So,
Survival, you say? Survival in what sort of environment are you trying to survive in? Out in the wilds?
Right?
Here in the city?
Probably urban. Probably some urban, maybe young entrepreneur books, perhaps, or just different tips for getting along in a city.
Yes, of course. And the little mage hand kind of flutters up into view again and zips off down the shelves here. Returns a minute or so later with a couple more books in tow, sets them down here. You see looking at the books here, you see one of them appears to be just kind of a general, adjusting to city life type book. It's kind of information about, where to find things, how to, get by in the city. It seems to be kind of written for, someone who is coming from kind of a smaller area. You also see another book, seems to be more business related, and it looks to be kind of a book about general service businesses. You see the title of the book written on the front is written as "Servicing for Simpletons," and it appears to have some basic facts of business running.
So these guys, this is not too far from us, 2 or 3 doors down or something.
Yeah, this is 5 houses down to the west.
Okay.
If you look at the Troll School Alley map, it's the red roofed house on kind of the west end of the map.
Okay.
Should be marked there.
All right. Yes, I think this will do. Allow me to introduce myself. You can call me Boo. Rashal, we just moved in here down at Troll Skull Manor, just right down the way. We're working on getting that fixed up, and, well, we're we need these, you know. Mix here's struggling with some of his maths, so how much do I owe you anyway?
Well, let's see here. And they kind of glance inside some of the covers of some of the books here and says, well, for the books here with these educational tomes and the business tomes, I think altogether probably, say 3 silver for the 7 books here.
No problem, no problem. Here you go, thank you. Keep an eye out for us opening. Perhaps we'll have a nice little nook where one can do some reading or perhaps turn some pages.
Richelle kind of chuckles at that. Ah, yes, of course. It'll be nice to see that place having some life again. I'll be certain to stop by once it's up and running.
Feel free to come by for tea or something beforehand, too, if you'd like. You're more than welcome.
Before we go, Rochelle, I'm in need of advanced alchemy books on. Well, I'm looking more for extend my knowledge in healing salves and medicinals. Do you have a large tome that could help me?
I think for a moment and says, yes, I think I might. It may be a little rarer than these, but let me see what I can find. And their little mage hand kind of flutters up into view again and speeds off again off into the distance here. And comes back a little bit later, kind of holding a fairly large, dusty book. It seems to be, and they lay it down on the table here, and looking through it, you see it's got quite intricate diagrams and beautiful, like, scientific writings throughout, detailing various medicinal things and plants and spells and other alchemical ingredients. Seems to be quite a well detailed book on the subject.
Rochelle, this is perfect. How much for this?
Well, this one, I think for this book alone, it is a little more rare than the others. But for this one, I'd say probably 2 silver for this tome.
Mix is gonna pay him pretty much right off the bat. Thank you so much, sir.
Wonderful.
I'm planning on starting to produce medicinals out of troll skulls, so if you know anybody who is in need of those kinds of services, send them on down.
Wonderful. I will certainly keep that in mind.
Booth, anything else? Or shall we carry these back?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Being kinder than normal, I'm actually going to take half the books instead of making Booth carry them all.
All right. So as you two are heading out of the shop, Boo, you do notice on the way out there's a kind of a sign posting near the door mentioning some of the other services that this place has along with books. It makes mention of various spells for sale and the ability to copy spells if need be. It says to inquire within for prices, of course, but it seems like they might have quite a few different options there for spells if that's ever something that you are looking into. You take note of that as you leave.
Out of character, was that not like the best bookshop ever?
Right?
It had an actual bookworm.
Hey.
All right, moving on. I'm done geeking out over it.
All right, so you guys, you two, as you guys are heading back up the street towards Troll Skull, you do notice, Mix, as you're just kind of out of the corner of your eye. You pass the Tiger's Eye, which was the private investigator's place, with kind of the guy in the almost detective-looking outfit going on with the sideburns. Next to that place is a rather small, maybe kind of leaning a little bit, not a whole lot, but enough that it's somewhat noticeable, with a kind of a sad sign over the door. It says Froon's Brews. You notice, just kind of out of the corner of your eye, someone in the window kind of looking at you as you guys are walking past. And, as you kind of turn a little bit to, kind of see if there's actually something there, there doesn't seem to be anybody in the window when you look that way. You just notice that as you walk past this Froon's Brews place.
Like bruises in alcohol or bruises in like alcohol?
Brews. It appears to be alcoholic in nature. From the detailing on the sign, it appears to have a tankard on it. So you assume that it's some sort of bar. You didn't really catch a good glimpse of what you saw in the window, but it seemed like a somewhat rotund person, just from the shape that you saw behind the glass. But they seem to have moved away when it seemed like you took notice. And you guys make it back to Troll Skull with your books in tow.
Well, I'm gonna go down and start working in my little lab, using the rest of the herbs that I have to make whatever high-value medicinals I can.
Okay, great. Do you want to roll? Go ahead and roll like a medicine check for me as you're working on those. We'll see how those turn out. A 5. All right. So you've set up this fresh lab here, kind of reading over these books. They're pretty detailed and in depth, and you probably aren't quite as familiar with the jargon quite as yet. Perhaps somewhere along the lines you maybe added a little too much of something or something incorrect, and it seems to have some mild healing properties. Nothing super fancy. How you give yourself a small cut and drop it on it, and it seems to very slowly kind of seal that over, but it seems it might take a little more time to get a little used to the terminology. Throughout all this, you guys are still continuing to hear carpentry work going on upstairs. Talsavar and Horace are working away. More and more of these chairs, tables, various wooden bits of furniture are getting completed. You can see now in some of the ones that are in farther stages, along with the fine woodwork, the chairs and some of the other things have very fine leatherwork done on them as well from Horace, with his set of magical tools that you guys had rescued for him. These nice embossed bits of leather, and some of them have a little bit of tooling in them. So they seem to be doing a very good job up here, but still not done. They're still working on this. The rest of you getting up to anything aside from Boo and Mix taking the bookshop?
Jiniku just likes to stay busy, so she's cleaning, especially where everybody can't reach up high.
Sounds like a plan. All right. So you pass the time the rest of the day here, continuing to work on the manor. Talsavar and Horace keep working. Eventually go home to the bent nail. And the night passes uneventfully, which brings us to the next day. So Talsavar and Horace return. They continue working on their woodworking projects here. And Jinku, as you are in the main floor of the manor, you kind of look up like you're working on something behind the bar area, and you kind of stand up after doing something on the floor, and you look over towards the window, and you see what appears to be a rotund person standing in the window, kind of peering. And you can see he's actually got his like hands up like this, like over the window. He seems to have his kind of face pressed against it. This window is one that hasn't been cleaned off yet. So he seems to have kind of like tried to rub a little spot and is peering through the window here. And he kind of sees your your head and your trunk kind of coming up over, and you can see he kind of backs away from the window a little bit, so his shadow kind of fades a little bit. You can still see his shape out there through the window, but he doesn't seem to be like right up against it.
Yeah, I'm not too bothered by this. I'm just gonna keep going about my work.
All right. All right, so you all keep going along here.
Okay, I can't hear anyone.
You can't hear anyone?
I keep hearing you react to people, but I don't hear anyone.
Oh, really?
I could hear Mix.
You could hear Mix? Okay. If you right click on everyone in there, like, and can you like turn their user volume up and see if that helps at all? Oh yeah, looks like some of them are turned all the way down for some reason.
Like Jenku was.
Jinku, do you want to try saying something real quick and see if Riz can hear you now?
Sprinkles.
I can hear.
Okay. Looks like that might have been what it was.
Yeah, I was really confused.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking to someone, but I can't hear them.
Yeah, it looks like it was just that volume control there. Okay, cool. All right. So you all, continue to busy yourselves around the manor here. And this next day, Blossom, Boo, Zara, you guys are all working on something on the main floor here. Talasavar actually has you kind of holding a few things together for him while he does some touches here, just kind of to help support him. And in the middle of this, the front door of Troll Skull kind of opens up, and you see this kind of rotund guy kind of stroll into Troll Skull. He looks kind of smug, actually. He kind of strolls in with kind of a little bit of a swagger of sorts. And he has kind of a little bit of a sneer on his face, and he kind of like walks in, kind of looks at you all, kind of goes and kind of looks around in the manor. Let me get you a picture of this guy here. 1 second. So
this asshole.
So he's kind of looking around in here, sees you all kind of helping to hold a few bits of carpentry together, and says, "Well, looks like trying to get a little business going in here, huh?"
What's it to you?
Well, just in the neighborhood. Got my own shop around here. Wouldn't want to have any competition affecting the business. I don't expect you can live up to what we've got over at Fruins.
Oh, don't worry, you're no competition.
He kind of lets out kind of a likely story. We'll see how that goes. This place has been a dump for so long. I don't think anyone will want to partake of food and drink here. Disgusting.
And yet it's still nicer than your place.
And what would you know? I haven't seen you around.
I make a point of making sure no one remembers me.
One of those types, are you? Tieflings. He kind of crosses his arms and continues to kind of he kind of paces around the edge of the room, kind of inspecting things, seemingly kind of trying to. Go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll an insight check for me, Boo and Zara and Blossom, since you guys are in here.
Oh my gosh, why can't I figure out? There we go.
Well, Boo rolled good enough. Oh, okay, both of you rolled good enough. Okay, sweet, definitely high enough. So you two are kind of trying to get a read on this guy. I mean, obviously, the first big thing that comes back into your head is asshole, but you do kind of get a sense of kind of feigned confidence. Like he seems to be trying a little too hard. But I mean, he definitely seems like a bit of a dick, or a lot of a dick.
I mean,
You have business
maybe
here, sir?
Boo's first thought was asshole, but Zyara's was stab.
No, I guess I'll be on my way. Well, keep an eye on you, of course. Don't.
Oh, I'll be by soon. Don't worry. I'm gonna pat him on the back as I guide him out. And with every pat, I'm gonna use prestidigitation to soil his back. Worse and worse and worse.
Very nice, very nice. He doesn't notice, but as you're kind of guiding him out, he kind of jerks a little bit at your touch and kind of seems to not want to have your presence near him, and kind of makes his way back out the door. It seems you've met that guy in the neighborhood.
And he's the owner of Fruin's Brews.
It appears so.
What do you think, Blossom? We ought to go there later tonight. Get trashed, maybe.
Sure.
See what kind of fun we can get up to in this bar.
So a little later that day, as you guys are kind of sitting down to have a meal in the mid-afternoon, kind of wiping your brows from the works that have been done so far, Talisavar has let you know that it seems like it might take one more day, and they'll have this work order all finished up for you. So hopefully tomorrow they'll have that all done. But you are sitting around, kind of having a good time together. The urchins are there as well, having some food. And you hear a knock at the front door.
I'll go answer the door.
Okay. Zara, you head up to the door and open it. And you find yourself looking up at another rather rotund guy. But this one seems a little more high class. He has a very magnificent kind of walrus mustache going on his face, and these ruffled sideburns coming down as well. And he has this gorgeous amber-colored cape that kind of comes out behind him. And he appears to have, like, the rest of his clothes are all pretty kind of high finery, kind of similar to some of the stuff you may have seen some of the men wearing at the party the other night. And he kind of smiles down at you all, or he kind of smiles down at you, Zyara, and says, good evening, friend. I hope you're having a pleasant time in this fine establishment. I like it very much. I enjoyed it very much a long time ago. I'm glad to see there is some life here again. I should introduce myself. My name is Mert. Perhaps you've heard of me?
No.
Would Zyara have heard of him living in the city?
Zara, I would say you would have. You know Mert to be a pretty common face around kind of high society type stuff. He makes his living as a moneylender. and so he is often involved in businesses all over the city, and kind of involved a lot in banking guilds, and kind of a big name in that sphere. He also is a you also know just from what you've heard about him. He used to be an adventurer a while ago. He's in his old age now. He mostly just deals with the banking and the money lending stuff now. But at some point back in the day, he did quite a few adventures. But he has a bit of a name around the city.
Yes, I'm familiar with you.
Let me give you a picture of this guy.
Well then.
This is Mert.
He has a presence. I like it.
He does. He does have quite the presence. And he says, "Ah, yes. Well, I'm glad you've heard of me. I'm sure my name precedes me in a lot of cases. And as it happens, I've heard about you. I make it my business to know a little about all of the adventurers who pass through Waterdeep, and I've heard that you have gotten into some excitement and danger and, might be interested in, perchance, a little treasure. Is that right?"
I can't say I've ever passed up treasure.
Yes. Well, that is good to hear. And at this point, he's kind of made his way through the door. He sits down on one of the new chairs that has recently been made. He kind of admires it for a second before he sits down, kind of nods approvingly at it, and then takes a seat and holds him just fine. Seems to be a well-constructed chair. And he kind of leans himself back in the chair a little bit and strokes his mustache and says, "Tell me, have you heard of Blue Alley?"
Nay, I can't say I have.
Well, Blue Alley is somewhat of a famous location here in Waterdeep, of the adventuring sort. Years ago, a secretive and reclusive mage constructed Blue Alley. It's a dungeon full of tricks and traps and strange monsters, some of which people may not have seen around before. No one's really sure who the mage was who constructed it or why, although there's rumors that perhaps he watches over the alley and the adventurers who go into it with some sort of amusement. It's entertainment for him, but who's to say? We aren't really sure. It is very dangerous in Blue Alley, but there's tell of quite a bit of fabulous treasure in there. And he kind of leans forward a bit and kind of puts his hands together and says, "There's a particular item in here that I have an interest in acquiring. And I heard, from my friend Durnan down at the Yawning Portal that you have done some fine work of the monster sort. And I heard whisper from the lady, my lady from the Coachman's Guild, that you may have some skill in getting into places." And he kind of grins a little bit and kind of brings a finger to his mouth and says, "Oh, don't worry, I won't breathe a word." Says, "If you're interested, I will gladly tell you some more."
Mertz, my name is Mix. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but what is it in it for us?
Well, in the Blue Alley, there's a particular sculpture that I'd like to acquire for my collection. The Celestite Unicorn. And I'm willing to pay you 300 gold pieces if you're able to secure this treasure for me.
What kind of vibe is this guy giving? Like, when you say moneylender, I kind of think loan shark, but is he like... I'm just kind of curious if it's like what kind of dude he feels.
Sure. Go ahead and roll an insight check for me. All right. So, Boo, the read that you're getting on this guy is like, yeah, he is a moneylender and deals with that kind of thing, but he is a kind of a jovial, congenial moneylender and kind of an eccentric of sorts. I mean, like I had mentioned, he was an adventurer back in the day, and along with his money lending and banking businesses that he deals with in the city, he has quite a collection of kind of rare items and artifacts and curiosities that he keeps at his home, and he kind of likes to go around and make himself known in Waterdeep and know what is going on in Waterdeep. But he's generally regarded as an honest and jovial fellow, great company at a tavern, so you've heard. But
Okay.
But yeah.
Mix is gonna kind of lean over to the others and like, before we agree, let's show him the manor. Tell him our plans. I have an idea.
Okay. All right. So you're gonna kind of offer a tour around the manor.
Yes, and it's a work in progress. Please keep that in mind. You understand, we're reviving this place.
Oh, no, of course, I understand. I remember when this place was in its heyday and Liff was here, and it's great to see that people are back in here again and restoring it to its former glory. It's been ages and ages since I've been in here at all, and even longer since I've been in any of the other areas of this place. I'd be glad to take a look around and see what you've cooked up so far.
Oh, and well, if you're a friend of Liff, call out to him. Sometimes he shows up.
Ah, Liff is still around. So I have heard. I'm sure he'll make himself known if he wants to be. I have no desire to force myself on the undead.
You're a wise man.
So I assume you guys are kind of taking him around the house. What are you showing him, telling him? What kind of things are you talking about here with Mert? As you're walking around with him, he kind of keeps kind of chuckling to himself, seemingly remembering maybe times past here with friends, the old days when he was much younger. He seems to be having a pretty good time, just kind of looking around as it is. Yeah, what are you looking to talk to him about here, Mix?
I'm gonna be asking him his insight. What do you think would be our best options for reviving and turning this into a bustling business again?
Well, from a business standpoint, I mean, you can't go wrong in the tavern business, of course. This place has quite a name and history of that already. And I mean, sure, old timers like myself and those who have been around Waterdeep a while will remember how it used to be and will have fond memories of this place. And if it returned to that kind of glory, I have no doubt that there would be customers flocking to the door, assuming that the quality of the brew was good. But I'm sure those guilds can help you with that. And he kind of chuckles a bit. But he says, yes, especially in this part of town. I mean, a lot of this area of Waterdeep in the northeast quarter is residential, and many of the places here, there's many large manors, and some of the great families of Waterdeep are kind of around in this area. And as a result, since many of these manors and villas take up entire city blocks, there's a bit of a dearth of good places to eat. There are a few, of course, kind of high-end establishments around, but they spread a little few and far between in this part of town. Usually have to go a little bit elsewhere to find a place to sit down and have a drink. I mean, there are some smaller joints that aren't of any particular note, but it would be good to have such a place of renown returned. I think it would be, I think it would be a great business venture to do that.
I appreciate you talking with me about this. I've been mulling over many ideas. We all have. I, for one, I would be happy to do this job for you. I don't know about the rest of my party.
Well, party?
Yeah, I'm in.
Sounds fun.
Well, it sounds like we're going to do it, Mert. Once we recover this for you, would it be alright if me and you sat down with the rest of our group here and maybe discuss some business upon our successful completion?
Certainly. That would be agreeable. I would be happy to discuss some things with you if you are so inclined. Come, let me tell you where to find the Blue Alley here in Waterdeep. And so he inquires if, I assume, you probably have some sort of map of Waterdeep around in your bags here. And
First assignment to the kids for art class. They've got to be drawing a map on one of the walls.
a beautiful fresco of Waterdeep going on. Wonderful.
One of a kind.
Great. So he kind of points out in the Sea Ward, which is the northwestern part of Waterdeep, along Ivory Street. Let me get this for you here. Oop. Okay. So there should be a marked spot along Ivory Street here. This is the northwestern part of Waterdeep. But he says this alley can be found coming right off of Ivory Street. It's hard to miss. It's a bit of an icon in the area. There are some little shops that have sprung up around it, of course, that kind of cater to the adventurers who try to plumb its depths. But you can't miss it. The cobblestones that lead into the alley are made of a glittering blue stone, which sticks out quite a bit from the usual stone of the streets. But if you head that way, I mean, certainly come well prepared. Like I said, it's many strange dangers within, creatures and tricks and traps. So keep your wits about you, and I'm certain you'll be able to come out successful.
Well, Mert, we'll send these fine children that we've taken under our wing to come and get you once we're done.
All right. Sounds good. So with that, Mert makes his way out of Troll Skull and leaves you all to it. It seems things are still going to be busy around here for another day, as Talisavar and Horus are going to be keeping an eye on the place as they continue to work. So you've got some time to go do a little adventuring, it seems.
I'm going to look at everybody and be just with a big smile. Can you give us the bill for this place again? Because we can take the carpentry off, right?
Yeah, let me get that for you. So, in terms, let me get this here. So, they were able to actually take quite a good bit out. So, they did take out the furniture and furnishings replacement, so that 300 GP is out. They may be able to do the roof repairs. You might want to ask them and see, but they may be able to throw that in for you there. But that will take out that large chunk of the carpenters, roofers, and plasters if you can get them to take care of that.
Well, if they can do the roof repairs, that means we have...
They would have done the sign, bar tooling, and banisters too, right?
They did do the bar tooling and the banisters, but they haven't done a sign. So I would say there's probably about 10 GP left on that for a new sign out front. Let me see. Can I draw on this? Let me draw on this and like cross some things out. Let's see. Okay. Furniture and furnishings replacement. Bar tooling and banisters. Okay. Next, if you are asking them about the roof, Talos of R kind of lets you know that they aren't super versed in roof repairs, but they're certain that they can work out something with someone in the guild who does. And they can take care of it for you. They seem more than grateful. Horace, especially now that he's had some time to sober up, is particularly grateful for the work that you've done for him, assisting his family. And he is happy to go and try to work something out with someone more, with more expertise in the roofing side of things. And they say they'll try to get that done while you are out and about.
Nifty.
All right. That at least takes one big thing out. Take this off. All right. So do you all kind of gather your things and head over to said alleyway?
Yeah. What kind of
Yeah.
shops are nearby? I'm curious as to what kind of stuff people think we need going in here.
Sure. So you guys make your way across Waterdeep over here to Ivory Street. And as you get within, within the block where Mert had told you that Blue Alley is located, you see kind of a variety of shops, both kind of ones in buildings and ones kind of along the street, little carts and vendors and stuff. Some of them are selling kind of kitschy souvenirs of Blue Alley. Maybe like a little pieces of glittering stone, or some other little memorabilia, little statuettes. But there also seem to be some kind of armorer and kind of weapons shops nearby, kind of with signs kind of offering, like going to Blue Alley, take this, and with some various weaponry to bring along as you confront the mysteries of this place. Opportunists, of course. As you're walking up the street towards this place, you kind of look adventure-y at the moment, with your garb and your various weapons that you have with you. Some of the various merchants are kind of like calling out, trying to get your attention. Seems this is kind of a usual day for them, seeing adventurers try to go into this place. And so, trying to peddle their wares in your direction.
I'll bite.
All right. So, Boo, you managed to make eye contact with one of the street vendors with a little cart, which, as we all know from going to shopping malls, that's always a bad idea, to make eye contact with the people in the carts in the middle of the mall. But he made eye contact with him nevertheless, and he immediately springs up and says, "Oh, sir, are you going to Blue Alley?"
Why, yes, I am.
Ah, yes, I thought so. You looked like the type. Well, why not have a lovely souvenir here as you go in? I mean, so many have tried and failed and made their way back out with nothing in hand, but perhaps you can leave in hand with a lovely souvenir. And he kind of holds up a little statuette, what looks like a, let's see here. He holds up a little statuette of what looks like a man being like caught by a spiked trap, and it's carved out of this like glittering blue cobblestone. But it seems kind of like it's kind of comical almost. Like it's got like this little base at the bottom and these kind of spikes coming out of it, and this little statue of a guy on top, kind of comically splayed, like on top. It seems this place has a bit of reputation that precedes it.
What do you want for it?
For a little statuette like this, a silver piece, of course. Only the finest to remember your stay here in Waterdeep and in Blue Alley.
Come now, I think you and I both know this isn't worth more than 5 copper.
He kind of looks taken aback and says, Sir, please. The art that went into crafting this fine piece of statuary.
I'll lean close so that my mask, like the beak of it, like almost touches him. And I'll say, you and I both know this is worth no more than 7 copper. Sir.
He kind of straightens himself up a little bit and says, Well, I guess that will do.
As I knew it would. Here is your 7 copper. Thank you for doing business. And I'll give him the copper.
Okay. And you now have a little kind of glittery blue statuette of a guy being impaled by a spike trap. So feel free to put that in your inventory.
Oh, I will.
for whatever use this may have at some point.
It's just freaking cool.
After you have this transaction, you step away from the shop and are walking down the street. The guy kind of calls after you, "Pray that statue doesn't end up you. Good luck in there, friend."
Is it somebody we recognize, or?
No, that's the shopkeeper.
Oh, okay, cool.
Basically telling you to break a leg and don't end up like the guy in your statue that you just bought.
So as we're walking, I'm going to look at everybody and be like, I've been doing some figuring on the way over here. With what we'll make off of this, we would basically be able to open. But if we make a deal with Mert and get him to loan us the remainder for, let's say, a share of the profits, what do you all think of this? We'd only be 510 gold pieces away from completion of restoration of Troll Skull. Then we can get him to loan us that remainder and possibly be able to open.
I guess we can see how amenable they are to the idea when we finish this.
Let's see how much we walk away from this from.
Yes, Mert did say this place has supposedly quite a range of treasures, so there may very well be more than just this statuette that he's looking after for his collection.
No, if we come out with enough to open Troll Skull and some extras, maybe we can invest it with him. It's always wise to invest. Shall we? And
Yeah, why don't you lead, Mix?
Mix is gonna kind of be walking along,
So,
going into this thing.
as you finally come to the entrance of Blue Alley, and like Mert said, it's pretty obvious. The cobblestone that leads into this alleyway between these buildings, kind of spills out into the street a little bit, and is this kind of glittering blue that kind of sparkles in the sunlight. And you see, let me actually get you a map up here, which might take a moment because it's a fairly large map. It's thinking.
It's had a long week.
Oh, geez, come on, Fantasy Grounds. Well, that's trying to figure itself out. So yeah, so you see kind of, there we go. So looking down this alleyway here, you can see that, the floor has this kind of glittering blue stone, and the walls, like the buildings on either side are just kind of regular old buildings with, some shops in there related to Blue Alley, selling more souvenirs and equipment and whatnot. And the walls, as they go into this alleyway, are just completely smooth. And it kind of extends a ways in here, seemingly for quite a distance. It's, fairly obvious this is some sort of magical setup here. It doesn't seem like this would logically be able to fit within this city block. But these smooth walls kind of go in here. Looking at them, they appear to be made of like sandstone, and it's about 20 feet high on either side of these just like sheer smooth sandstone walls, and the glittering blue cobblestone along the floor in here.
Man, it's really taken a long time to think.
Is it still loading?
Yeah,
Yep.
our tokens have loaded and that's it.
Oh my god.
I don't even have the tokens yet.
Me either.
Jesus Christ. This is the map that gave me with the module, too. Jeez Louise. Somebody did not optimize this. Hold on. Let me see. Well, actually, with the time that it is, this might actually be a good time to take a quick break. And I'll see if I can pull this map out and resize it so it isn't so ridiculously huge, and maybe that'll fix that. So, we'll take a quick break since we're about halfway through anyways. I'll try to fix this map while we're gone, and hopefully that will do it. I might need to restart Fantasy Grounds, maybe. We'll see. But we'll be right back.
Is your end locked up, or is it just the map not loading for?
My end seems like it might have locked up as well. It's fucked. So I will restart Fantasy Grounds and come back.
That'll happen sometimes when you're loading them up. Like
Yeah.
the big maps. Give it a couple. Try giving it like 2 more minutes maybe, and see what.
Okie doke. We're back. With a map that works this time and isn't ridiculously huge. God, it was huge. Okay, so like I was saying, you guys are in front of the alleyway here. Glittery blue stones on the floor, smooth sandstone walls that seem to extend up 20 feet into the air on either side. There is a tin sign on the western wall that has the words Blue Alley painted on it. You can see the sky up above, but again, like, kind of looking into this alleyway, like, it seems to extend further than you would expect it would be able to fit into the block that it's on. But you can see the sky above you.
Now, east and west, is that like just the intro?
So currently, like, up, north, west, east. So the alleyway is extending northwards. You see in front of you, right in the middle of the alleyway, about 15 feet inwards, there's a podium of gleaming sodalite, which is a type of stone. And atop this podium lies a quill beside a heavy book bound in blue leather.
Mix is going to cautiously walk up and look at it.
Okay. So you take a look over this book here, and you see it's full of names, every single one written in a different hand. About a quarter of the names have a neat line drawn through them. So you see names like Ander Stormwind, Karamarsk, Shvara Fezim, Tortoise Frostbeard, all sorts of different names, all listed in this book. And then the alleyway continues behind the book, always.
Mix is just gonna kind of shrug and cautiously start walking into the alley,
Okay.
making sure everybody else follows.
Sure. So you keep walking a little bit, and about 5 feet past the podium, you seem to find yourself hitting an invisible wall and can proceed no further.
I think we have to sign in.
Alright. Mix will come back and write his full name and start to see if he can get past the barrier then.
Okay. So Mix, you sign your name in the book with the quill here and take a few steps forward, continuing past where you were before, and are able to get through. It seems you are no longer impeded.
Jinku will sign the book and follow.
Okay.
Me too.
Blossom does as well.
I guess Sayara does as well, even though she's not thrilled about it.
All right. So you've all signed in, and you make your way up the hallway. And as you get up here, you find yourself at a bit of an intersection. So here, the alleyway splits into branches running east and west, and directly in front of you is a very brightly colored mural painted on the wall, which depicts numerous adventurers falling victim to like every conceivable form of trap you could think of. So there's adventurers falling victims to like swinging blades, spiked pits, collapsing roofs, jets of fire, poison, gas, and more. All of these just wonderful depictions of misadventure all over this wall. And above the mural, kind of at the top of the wall, you see the word silver is painted above an arrow that points to the east. And then you have the word gold painted above an arrow pointing to the west. Do you guys look over this mural at all or anything?
Mix is gonna look at it and, knowing it's probably a trick, suggests that they head towards the silver.
Okay. Roll a perception check for me as you're taking a look at this mural here. Very nice. So as you're looking over this mural, and like it is pretty densely packed with like all of these various depictions of adventurous misadventure, and you see among the pictures, you find some depictions of yourselves among all of these adventurers falling victim to various traps. It seems the 5 of you are in here too on the mural. You also notice, peering very closely between, like the kind of between a couple of people's splayed legs, at some point, you see a very small sentence carved into the mural that reads, "50 feet south of the barred window is a secret door."
I'm gonna tell everybody what I saw in there, and I guess does it tell me where this barred window is?
Looking around, you don't see any barred windows here, so assumedly this is referring to something else later on. So keep it in mind.
Okay. I'm going to go towards the silver, so that's
To the right. Okay. The rest of you also decide to head towards silver.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as you come around the corner here, you... in this chunk of the hall, you see on the west wall of the alley, about midway up, is a sculpture of a humanoid skeleton with outstretched arms, and its mouth is open, kind of almost looking like it is screaming. And you also see 2 doors on the eastern side.
I'm
Does
gonna
the skeleton
cautiously.
seem to be pointing at either door in particular?
The skeleton's arms don't seem to be pointing in any particular direction. Like, they're both just outstretched, kind of in front of it, like this. And it just has its mouth open, so it's just kind of like...
Do I see any possible traps?
Like with the skeleton? Or just around?
Just kind of around before the first door.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a perception check here for the first part of the hallway here. So yeah, I guess you guys aren't quite to the skeleton yet. You just see it up there. Looking around in the hallway here in front of you, you don't see any signs of traps at this point.
Well, Mix will walk up to the first door and look at everybody and be like, should I open it?
Perhaps listen to see if there's anything on the other side first.
Another perception check?
Yeah, go ahead and roll a perception check. Okay, so you see inscribed above these 2 doors, the southernmost door has an inscription above it that reads "The Low Way," and the upper door has an inscription above it that reads "The Highway."
Okay, y'all. Low way or highway?
I personally
Let's go
vote
the
for
highway.
highway.
Okay.
Yeah, highway.
Mix will walk up to the highway and start cracking that door open.
Okay. So you open the door to the highway here, And the stone walls in here are decorated with colorful frescoes depicting a skyscape filled with all manner of flying creatures, various birds, dragons, things like that. The ceiling is about 20 feet high in here, so there's a ceiling in this portion. And about 15 feet above the floor, there you see a row of short copper rods that protrude from either wall, and lightning arcs between these rods above your heads along the entire length of the corridor.
Oh, wonderful.
Boo, you want to send your familiar through and see if it gets zapped?
It's obviously gonna get zapped. You go through and see if it gets zapped. This guy's my buddy. I'll pat him on the head.
Somebody check the low way.
Okay, I guess.
Blossom will cautiously check the low way.
All right. Blossom, you open the door to the low way. So this corridor has walls of dressed stone and thick cobwebs kind of cover everything. You can see that there's an open pit that blocks the way. It's about 10 feet deep and 20 feet long. And the bottom of the pit is lined with jagged and menacing spikes.
Even better.
So, y'all, spikes are electricity. Like, I see any skeletons or remains or anything?
No, it actually seems pretty clean. Like everything you've seen so far appears to be, aside from the cobwebs in this pit here that Blossom's looking at, there doesn't appear to be any sign of like remains or dead things.
It's not good for tourism.
Anybody know any way of getting through lightning? Or shall we try to get over this pit?
The lightning is 15 feet above you. Like those little copper rods are protruding from the walls 15 feet up. Like they're not right at your level.
Oh, okay. Is there any like pressure plates or anything? Can I tell?
You can check. Perception it up. From what you can see, looking through the hallway here, you don't appear to see any pressure plates.
Mix is gonna move under the first rods and see what happens.
Okay. So you just like move that into that first square in the room there. Okay. So you step into the room. The lightning continues to crackle overhead between these copper rods, but aside from that, nothing in particular happens.
Now I'm gonna take a cautious steps forward gradually.
Okay. Are the rest of you doing anything, or just letting Mix go in there?
Letting him
Watching
go
Mix.
first.
Yes, I was totally just watching.
All right. So Mix, you continue. Again, nothing happens. Lightning continues to crackle overhead. Maybe feel a little static electricity. Your hair is kind of standing up a bit, but aside from that, nothing.
I'm just gonna keep going forward.
Okay. So at this point, as you're stepping into the middle of this hallway, you feel a plate move beneath your feet as you take a step, and you kind of feel a little lighter in the air, and you find that you are slowly levitating upwards at about a foot up every 5 seconds or so. So pretty rapidly, but foot by foot, you start floating upwards.
So I was about to begrudgingly say, and this is why I dropped my token there, that I would probably be begrudgingly following him.
Okay.
So I don't know if that would impact me, but I'm probably within like 5-10 feet of him, I guess.
You would also begin moving upwards as well, kind of levitating slowly towards the ceiling.
Is there anything I can grab onto?
The only thing that is grabbable would be the copper rod sticking out of the walls. Otherwise, the walls are smooth.
I'm gonna rush forward and grab their ankles.
Okay. Well, Jinku, as soon as you step into the hallway, you begin levitating as well.
Mix is going to pull a rope out of his pack, toss it to Jinko, tell her to keep tossing it down the line, and have the others yank us out of this hallway.
Okay.
And hang on.
All right. So go ahead and do. Let's see what kind of check for this. I guess do like a dexterity check, I guess, as you toss this in there. Okay. All right. So you manage to toss this rope backwards, and boo, Jinku, you are able to grab onto it. By this point, like Mix, you're getting pretty close up there. Like your hair's really standing up. You're getting pretty high up, but it reaches out into the hall, lands at Sarah and Blossom's feet. I assume you two are helpful, or what are you two doing?
I will grab the rope.
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead, both of you, and roll strength check with advantage as you pull together, pulling them out of this. Great. Okay. So with your powers combined, you manage to pull these three back. And just in time, them floating in the air seems to have made it a lot easier to pull them. But you pull them back through the door, and as the instant they pass the threshold of the door, the levitation on them ceases. Mix in particular kind of falls a little ways, but doesn't take any damage from it. He manages to catch himself. But as soon as you all are out of the hall, you hear kind of a shift happen. So assumedly it has reset.
Well, I'm gonna tie this rope around my waist and go forward slowly. Can all of you hang on and yank me back out if that happens again?
Yes, and I'm going to watch where you step so we know where not to step.
I'll go to where Boo's token still is,
Okay.
where I knew that right before that pressure plate, and then I'll go to the opposite side right here.
Great. So as you kind of step around there, you find yourself in the middle of the hallway, but you don't feel anything shifting. So it seems that you've managed to avoid the plate that is smack in the middle of the hall.
I'm gonna look at the plate, and is it different than anything else? Like, can I tell where these things?
It doesn't look too different from anything else. If anything, you can see upon closer inspection that it sticks out just a hair more than the rest. But kind of looking ahead, with the light coming from this crackling lightning here, it looks like this is the only one, right in the middle of the hall.
Okay, so Booth's gonna go down this side that you just inspected, all the way to the end. Mix.
All right. So, Mix, you make it all the way through to the other side and step out. You find yourself in kind of a angled hall with a door at the end. You can see it kind of bends back around. You see the other side of the pit as well. So it seems they both led to the same place. But yeah, it looks like if you manage to direct everyone around the pressure plate, they should be able to get through without levitating into the sky.
Y'all follow where I went.
Okay.
I'll tell them exactly where the pressure plate is. Avoid that. Everybody hang on to the rope just in case.
Okay. Zyara takes the path that he pointed out.
Yep. So Jink.
Same.
Same.
All right, so you guys managed to make it through here, and you see a door in front of you, and this door is made of silver-plated iron and is engraved with various circular shapes, and it's fairly ornate. Do you try to open it at all?
I'm going to inspect it first.
Okay. Inspecting the door, you find that there is a keyhole under a handle on one side. And you also just kind of inspecting the door. It seems to be quite firmly locked.
Anybody know how to pick a lock?
That would be me.
I'll back out of the way then.
All right.
Be really careful.
That would be a sleight of hand check, right?
Yeah, I'd say do that since you didn't go, and since it's and you're using your thieves' tools. Would that be with advantage using thieves' tools? Or?
So technically, like the way you do it is it depends, but I know you can use the tools and you get a proficiency on that. So like you roll you roll on the tools, which is a d20, and then you determine kind of what bonus you get, and then you add your proficiency, the right proficiency. So it would be equivalent to like a sleight of hand check for them, I think.
Okay, so just a regular. Okay, so I guess just roll a regular sleight of hand check then, and we'll use that. Okay, so Zara, you can whip out your thieves' tools here and kind of pick your way at the lock. It seems to be quite resilient. You weren't able to get a good catch on any of the tumblers inside the lock at all. Very well. Like you think you maybe got like one, but then you lost it. It seems to be a bit of a tricky lock to pick, it seems.
Anybody have any ideas?
No.
Um,
This is not my forte. I'm here.
can
This.
I look
Okay.
around the area to see if maybe there's something hidden that we missed?
Okay, roll a perception check. All right, so Zara, you kind of look around this little angled room here, and there doesn't seem to be anything else of note. You know, the walls here are smooth, the same sandstone that you've been seeing in all of this place so far. I mean, you see the path you came through, and then the pit. But I mean, from what you can assume, it seems that you might need a key from somewhere for this door.
Are the doors made of stone as well?
The door, this is made of silver-plated iron. This particular door is. So it's kind of gleaming and glittering with the silver plating that's on it.
Mick's getting an idea. He says, I'm going to be right back. And he's going to bolt down the hallway back to the skeleton to take a look at it.
Okay. So go ahead and do a perception check as you poke around this skeleton here. Okay. You kind of look around the skeleton, but you aren't able to find anything of note with it. It just appears to be a skeleton statue from what you can tell.
I'll try and help him. I assume he's inept. Like, that's just me. So I'll be double checking his work.
Okay, Boo, you can go ahead and go over there and help as well.
Although I'm not good.
Okay. Boo, you take a look over it, and you aren't able to notice anything of note either. Just skeleton statue.
Okay, so is there anything special about the door that we can see besides that it's just like a locked silver-plated stone door? Is there designs in it or anything?
There are, excuse me, there are some just kind of like generic circular designs in the silver plating, but aside from that, it's just a silver-plated iron door.
Can we tell what way the door opens?
The door, from the way the hinges are, it seems like it opens inwards. You aren't able to see like the hinge pins, so it would be on the inside, which would mean it opens inwards.
So, Goldway?
I don't know. I don't think that this is a complete impasse here. There's got to be something we're missing.
Okay. Are any of the other three of you going back out and checking anything with these two guys?
I'm gonna come over here and lean over and look at the pit. Well, kind of being real cautious, standing right about it.
Oh, the lower road? Okay. So you kind of look over this pit, the southern area here. And like I said, it's 10 feet deep. And the bottom of the pit has a variety of kind of jagged looking spikes all over the place. It looks like you could get down there and like walk across the bottom, but you can see the other side. It looks like it just comes up the other side.
Max is gonna look at everybody and be like, "The skeleton's the only other thing. It's gotta be it." But I don't know what to do. Should I just start taking it apart?
I turn to Jenku and quietly ask, "So, how strong are you?"
You want to find out?
I mean, brute force wouldn't hurt.
And I don't even listen to the rest of what she says, and I just go at it with my hand axe.
The door? You're attacking the door with the hand axe?
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna wail on it.
Okay. You try to attack it with the hand axe, and it just kind of tings right off. It doesn't seem to do anything.
So I guess our answer is not that strong.
Max is gonna yell down the hallway, "Hey, Jinku, kick it. Hit it really hard with your foot."
Okay, I'm stupid, but I'm not that stupid. Why don't you kick it?
Guys, I don't know, man. There's a skeleton over there. I looked over it as best I could. And, Max looked over it, but
I want to try hitting the skeleton statue with my axe.
Okay.
Max is gonna be like, "I'm gonna back up and watch from over here."
Okay. Go ahead and roll a strength check for me as you try to attack this skeleton statue here. Okay. So, Blossom, you come over here with your axe, and you manage to swing it hard enough that you kind of shear off like the top half of the skull, and it's made of stone. And it just kind of clanks to the ground. But with the top half of the skull gone, you notice something that the other two weren't able to find now that it's in plain view. There appears to be a small button in the lower part of the jaw.
I pressed the button.
You press the button, okay. So you press this button, and there is on the western wall across from the door to the high road, a bit of the wall swings inwards.
I'm not going to step in, but I'll just kind of cautiously lean my head in.
Okay.
What's going on in there?
All right. So you kind of peek around the corner, and you can see. Let me get this uncovered here a little bit. You can see the hall kind of winds up a little ways, kind of turns a little bit, and goes up some stairs. And there's another door up here. Looks like this is. Looks like a stone, or not a stone, sorry, a wooden door at the top of these stairs.
Found something else.
Why don't you go check it out, Blossom?
Guinea pig goes first.
Yeah, no, you have good luck going first. You go first. I'll be back here to, pull you back with a rope.
I don't think
The
that's
system works.
I swear, if something happens, I'm going to electrify. I'm going to look, now that I know what the pressure plates look like, I'm going to be looking at the floor. Do I see any?
Go ahead and roll a perception check as you look up this hallway here. You do not see any pressure plates in this hall.
Mix is going to cautiously walk up to this door then.
Okay.
Real slow, like inching along the wall.
All right. Mix, you make it up to the door without any incident.
Can they see me?
If they're still back there, they can't see you because you kind of went up a corner.
Scream. Mix is just going to start screaming bloody murder.
All right. Blossom, Zara, Jinku, you hear the sound of Mixon's screams coming from up the hallway here.
I'm gonna casually stroll in.
Perhaps we shouldn't go in there.
Blossom, you stroll in and find Mix just kind of standing there, kind of hands around his mouth, just kind of screaming. He doesn't appear to be in any sort of danger.
Oh, darn it. I thought that would be funny. I'm going to start looking at this door. Does it open?
It does. It's just a regular wooden door.
What's behind it?
All right. So behind this door,
New car.
not quite. You do find a room that seems to have at one point been quite luxurious. It seems to be in a little bit of a state of disrepair. The very overstuffed couches that are in here appear quite comfortable, and the carpet appears to have been well cared for, even though there is kind of a bit of a path worn into it from use. There is a door on the eastern wall, and then another wooden door on the northern end as well.
I'm going to walk in and start going through the stuff in this room, see if I can find a key.
Okay, go ahead and do an investigation check for me. Okay, kind of tossing through the rubble here, or the various kind of ruined fineries. You don't seem to find anything of note. just kind of various kind of decor.
Zyara is also going to look around.
Okay. Investigation from you as well.
While they're doing that, Jinku's gonna sit on the couch. Looks comfy.
All right, Zara, you're looking around. You also don't really find anything of note aside from just this kind of ruined, time-worn decor. Jinku, you are quite comfortable. It is an overstuffed couch. Seems to work quite well with your size, and you kind of relax a little bit.
Wonderful.
Jinko, once we're done, maybe we can haul one of those back to your room for you.
Or we can just go buy one. I don't really feel like hauling a couch all the way through this mess.
Mix is gonna try this eastern door, western door.
Okay. This eastern door, it kind of moves, but it appears like it appears to be stuck. Go ahead and roll an athletics check for me as you're trying to yank on this. Okay. As you're yanking at the door, you almost think you have it. Like you get a really good yank in, but it doesn't quite do it, and it still manages to stay shut.
I'll take a crack at it.
Take a crack away. Jinku walks over and confidently yanks this right open. And you find a small hallway beyond. In here, at the very back of the hallway, you see a solid bronze statue. And as you're looking at this statue, you can see that the eyes of the statue kind of appear to follow whoever's in the room. Like you kind of looking around at it, and you notice the eyes kind of moving back and forth a little bit.
Like that.
You also see there's like several broken vials along the floor, and on the wall there is a phrase that is scrawled in common that says, "Utter madness, pure rubbish."
Yeah. Boo, this is all you.
This makes perfect sense, and I'm gonna walk up and I'm gonna smash this statue.
So as you try to get close to the statue, you find yourself kind of running into an invisible wall of force. As you get within probably about 5 feet of the statue, you aren't able to go any further.
Maybe it's a riddle.
You do notice as you've gotten closer to the statue here, you see there is an inscription at the base, which reads that this appears to be the statue of a wizard named Killier.
I will let the others know what I can read.
Okay.
Does that mean anything?
It doesn't seem to ring any bells. It just seems to be a name of this guy.
Alright then.
So you continue to kind of poke around in this room here. The this wizard statue's eyes continue to kind of follow you around. And after a few moments of kind of being in this room, suddenly hear kind of a strange noise, and several small creatures kind of appear out of nowhere in this room. And let me drop them onto the map here. Oh, fuck. I dropped them all and then I deleted them all. Oops. There we go. All right. So you... Yeah. Come on. So these creatures that have appeared among you, let me make these visible, are kind of small, strange little creatures. They're kind of a dark color with these kind of large yellow eyes. And let me get you a picture. They look like this.
Aww.
And they appear to be kind of dripping some kind of black material off of them. And they kind of make little strange cackling noises and kind of dance back and forth. And a couple of them kind of make their way over towards the door, the eastern door, and kind of start making moves like they're trying to fix it. Everybody go ahead and roll initiative.
Oh my gosh, why can't I find it? Oh, there it is.
Okay. So, Jinku, looks like you're up first. You have these little grimy creatures kind of around you. Looks like you have one kind of near you behind the couch. It seems to be kind of trying to clear up some of the debris near the couch.
Do any of them like move in to attack at all?
They do seem to be eyeing you, and they kind of seem a couple of them seem to be kind of clenching their hands a bit. They seem to be kind of intent on maybe grabbing something, but you aren't quite sure.
I'm gonna keep an eye on them just in case they do attack, but I'm actually just gonna stand up from the couch and just kind of stand at the side, just observe.
Okay. All right. And is that all you do on your turn, Jinku?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Boo. What do you do?
Well, these things are right by me. I don't like that shit. So I'm gonna cast Toll the Dead on this number 5, I guess.
Okay.
I'll say, get out of here.
All right. So you cast Toll the Dead at this boggle here, and it doesn't seem to take, unfortunately. The boggle kind of laughs a little bit, kind of dances back and forth on its feet, kind of jumping around. Do you do anything else on your turn, Boo?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Which brings us to this. Let's see, where are you, boggle number 2? Boggle number 2, it kind of reaches out its hands and runs at you, Zyara. And hold on, let me get. That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. So it seems to, as it runs at you, Zara, it tries to kind of grasp at like one of your knapsacks that you have with you. It seems to be trying to get into it and grab something out of it, but it is not successful. Boggle number 1 also runs at Zara and tries to do the same. And it manages to get into your satchel, and it grabs a set of playing cards out of your satchel, and it kind of cackles, goes, and kind of grabs it, yanks it out of your bag, and kind of steps back, kind of clutching this pack of playing cards that you had in your knapsack. And boggle number 3 runs at Jinku. And again, that also tries to reach into your various knapsacks, and doesn't manage to get its hands in there. You manage to kind of scoot your hips out of the way enough that it can't grab something. Bottle number 4 is right next. Had appeared right behind Mix, and it reaches out, trying to get something out of your bag. And so it reaches into Mix's bag, and it grabs a... Let's see, I'll roll dice here. It steals one of the rations that you had in your pack. So it grabs it out, again, kind of yanks it out, kind of dancing gleefully, chuckles to itself, holding this ration that it stole. And that brings us to bottle number 5, which this one, it kind of moves over towards the door that Jinku had busted open, and it kind of pulls it shut and kind of starts making some like various motions with it. You're not quite sure what it's doing, but it appears to be trying to repair this door, which brings us to Mix.
I think the door repair is the most dangerous, so I'm gonna fire off an Eldritch Blast at boggle number 4.
Okay, fire away. All right, so this Eldritch Blast kind of crackles across this room, arcing over one of the couches between you and it, and strikes this boggle for quite a bit of damage, and it kind of falls against the door here, kind of letting out kind of a little screech as this blast hits it. Did you do anything else on your turn, Mix?
Nope.
Okay. Boggle number 6. This one runs at Blossom, and it tries to kind of yank on your cloak that you have, Blossom, but it doesn't manage to get it off of you, but it seemed to have tried to get it. And that brings us to Blossom. This little dude just tried to steal your cloak.
I'm gonna whack him with my axe.
All right, attack away.
Dice do not like me tonight.
They do not. So you swing your axe at this boggle, and it manages to, like, it manages to have a hand on like the end of your cape, and as you swing around to swing it with the axe, it kind of goes with your cape and kind of swings around you with it, and you manage to miss it with your great axe here. Anything else on your turn here?
No.
Okay. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Zara, it is your turn. I accidentally clicked the turn button. It is yours, Zara.
I
Go ahead.
clicked the turn button and then you did.
Oh, Zara, it is your turn, even though it doesn't say it is.
Rude.
What are you doing? This guy stole a pack of cards. He's
Um,
kind of dancing in front of you, kind of cackling.
I'm pretty annoyed at this stupid thing, so I'm gonna attack it with my mace.
Okay. That hits. Go ahead and roll. All right, so you swing your mace down on this boggle that had yoinked your cards. Does a decent bit of damage to it. It kind of yelps in response, but it still has a hold on these cards that it took from you. Which brings us back around to the top of the order with Boo.
Yo, I'm going to magic missile the Boggle 5
Mm-hmm.
and Boggle 2. So I'm going to do one at Boggle 5 and two at Boggle 2.
Okay. Fire away. All right. So you fire your magic missile at 5. First one hits. This boggle that's over by the door kind of collapses to the ground, and then a moment later, with kind of a strange little noise, poofs. This body kind of poofs out of existence. And you also fire at boggle number 2 behind Zyara. Your missiles whiz across the room. Zyara manages to duck deftly out of the way as they zoom past her, hitting this short little guy on the ground. And both of these hit, and he squeals in pain here as those two strike. Anything else on your turn?
Oh, that's it.
Okay, Blossom. You still got this boggle kind of with a hand on your cape here right behind you, or right next to you.
I'm gonna try to make. I'm gonna give my cape the command to billow.
All right. So
Does that free it?
let me roll. Let me have it roll. Let's check here. Your cape billows beautifully as it does, and as it kind of flaps in the wind, this thing manages to hold on. It did quite a good billow. It was very stately, but it managed to hold on throughout the process. It kind of yelled, kind of got like a as it kind of flipped around in the air on this end of your cape here. Do you do anything else?
Let's see. For now, I'll kind of ignore that one. He seems to be holding on for his life. So, Oh, this. I'm going to move up and I'm going to attack at Boggle 1.
Okay. That hits. Roll that damage. All right, so you bring your great axe down on this boggle, and it strikes it quite well, kind of right in the shoulder here, putting this huge kind of gash, almost severing one of its arms here, and it kind of lets out this kind of screech of terror, and but it still seems to be standing. Anything else, Blossom?
That would be it.
All right, Mix.
Mix is going to shoot at the one that stole his food ration.
Okay. All right, so you fire a blast off at this boggle here, and it kind of singes the corner of this overstuffed couch next to it here, but doesn't manage to strike the boggle. Anything else?
Nope.
All right, that brings us to boggle number 2. Boggle number 2, again, kind of does a little dance, kind of holding up your pack of cards there in victory, and it disappears. It kind of, like a small little hole seems to open up under it, and it just disappears.
Had my cards.
Oh, boggle 1 had your cards. Never mind. So boggle 2 does still disappear. It poofs out of existence. Which is Jinku.
I'm going to hit at Boggle 3 with my.
Okay. That hits. All right. So you come swinging your flail over at this boggle. You strike a pretty. You give it a good crack, like right on the side of the head, and it kind of lurches over to the side with kind of a groan as that strikes. It seems you did a good bit of damage to it here. Anything else? All right.
Nope.
All right. Boggle number 1. This one has Zyra's cards, and it does lift them up, kind of gleefully, and it poofs out of existence.
Rude.
Boggle number 6 in the middle of the room here on the couch. It also kind of looks around, does a little dance, and disappears. As does boggle number 4 with the ration it stole from Mix and the one that Jinku just struck. And you are alone in this room.
Extra rude.
Okay.
Agreeing with Zyara, I will say, what is that phrase in the room? Rubbish? Pure madness?
Yeah.
I find it kind of music, so I'll say that phrase.
Well said.
Well, should I open this door? This place is like a house of horrors. I'm gonna go ahead and open this door very carefully and peek.
The northern door?
Yep.
Okay. One second here. Okay. So you open up this northern door. Let me get this up here. And you find a... Oh, gotta turn my masking layer on. Alright. You find another... Come on. Hallway leading with some stairs that kind of head downwards down to another landing that appears to bend to the north.
Well, guys, it looks like it's this way. Blossom, you're going first this time.
You know what the pressure plates look like. You go first.
You saw the pressure plates too. I don't want to go first.
I'm gonna poke my head in and look for pressure plates below the stairs.
All right. Go ahead and roll a perception there. You do not see any pressure plates or traps with on these stairs.
I will cautiously make my way to the top of the stairs.
Okay. That's actually going down. You're going down to the bottom there.
Oh, down.
Okay. All right. So you come down to the bottom here, and you find yourself in a rather long hallway. And there appear to be a number of different doors that open off of it up ahead. I'll cover a little bit more. There we go. So you see there are doors, 2 doors on the east, 2 doors on the west, and then also a door to the north.
Oh, pick a door.
Pick a door indeed.
Let's make Boo pick a door.
I'm picking a door. No, that's not what the wizard does. I'm gonna stand back and watch you pick a door, or you pick a door, or you pick a door. But I don't open doors. That's not in the list of things I do.
I didn't say you had to open it. You just gotta pick one.
Let's start at the beginning and work our way out.
I will use Mage Hand to open the second one on the right.
The second one on that, so the one farther up?
Yep.
Okay.
I was gonna let somebody open it, but then Mix had to say that we should start at the beginning, so now I'm doing it. I'm opening it.
Okay. So if you're opening, I assume it's this was the door you were opening up here?
Yeah.
Okay. So you open this door, and this room has a winding path of bright yellow tiles that lead from the western door where you are standing to a northern one. The walls that are in this room have all been decorated with very detailed murals depicting various funerary rituals, as well as a dozen mages all holding the holy symbol of Maestra in the background. And you see inscribed on the wall are the words, "Get through."
I'll put my familiar on the ground and I'll say, "Go on, little guy, you know you need to follow the yellow." And I'll pat him on the head and I'll say, "I wish you..." And I'll send him in to walk that yellow path. Does anything happen?
You're familiar?
Yeah.
So you're familiar. It, wanders into the room, and you have it going along the yellow path on the ground, and it makes it all the way to the other side without any particular incident, it seems.
Is your familiar heavy enough to set off floor traps?
I don't know. Walk in there and test out, and let's see if it is. Follow that yellow path, and then if you get hit with something, then we...
Max is a little annoyed by all this, and he's just got to go in there and walk along the path.
Okay. So Mix, you walk along the path in here, and without any particular incident, you are able to make it all the way to the northern wall, as long as you stay along this path along the way.
I'm gonna look down at Boo's familiar and be tempted to kick it off the path.
Okay.
I want to know what happens.
Sure. So as you kick the familiar off the path onto the blue tiles.
I said tempted.
You what?
I was tempted.
Oh, you were tempted. Oh, okay. You didn't, actually. Okay.
I'm gonna investigate this wall.
Okay. So you... In front of you here on the northern wall, there is a stone door.
Can I open it?
You can. It pushes inwards. And looking into this room, you see that every surface in this chamber are a mirror. So the walls, the floors, the ceiling, all of it. It's all a mirror. And standing in the middle of the room is a 3-foot tall statue of a unicorn that is kind of rearing up. on its hind legs.
Is this the statue we're sent in here for?
It would seem so.
It seems to match that description.
I'm gonna walk forward and try to grab it so we can get the hell out of here.
Okay. So you walk into the room and grab this unicorn. And as you kind of walk back towards the door, the unicorn, as well as all of your possessions, aside from like your undergarments, are all teleported to the middle of the room and are now like laying around this pedestal. So you find yourself kind of standing in the middle of this room in your undergarments with all of your stuff and this unicorn back on the pedestal. And this boisterous laughter kind of echoes throughout the room here at you as this happens.
I'm gonna go back and start putting my possessions back on.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing? Are you guys all just way out in the other hall here?
Oh no, I'm at the end of the room. I'm laughing. I'm on the ground.
Okay. Are all of you have all of you moved over to this mirror room?
I mean,
Yeah.
we can. Zyara kind of wants to check out the other rooms, but
Well, you can if you want. What were you wanting to check out, Zara?
I was wanting to check out this southeast room right here.
Okay. So the southeast room. Let me get this here. When you walk up to the door to the southeast room, you can see inscribed above the door. It reads, "Take only what you can truly afford." And do you open the door?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you open this door, and this room is filled to the brim with coins of all types. At a glance, you can kind of determine that there are probably thousands upon thousands of gold pieces scattered throughout this room. As well as like various chests and containers. Like all of these things in this room are just like spilling coins all over. And they're kind of stacked in various ways all over the floor.
Okay. So I don't want to necessarily explore too much alone.
Okay.
So I guess after seeing that, I guess I'll go stand near this mirror room.
Okay.
Not in it, but close.
Okay. The three of you that are in the mirror room, what are you doing in there? Mix, I assume you're putting your stuff back on. Boo, Blossom, what are you two doing in here?
I want to try something.
Okay.
I'm going to take off my cape of billowing and my axe, and I'm going to hand it to Jinku, hand those items to Jinku.
Yeah.
So I have no items on me,
Okay, I'll hold on to them for you.
and I'm going to try to take the statue.
Okay. So you pick up the statue off of the pedestal here and begin walking towards the door. And as you get to the open door where Jinku is standing beyond, the unicorn just teleports back to its pedestal in the middle. But since you didn't have anything else on, nothing else goes with it, but the unicorn goes back.
Let's break the mirrors.
I was just gonna suggest that.
I'll take my cloak and axe back.
Okay.
I'm gonna start bashing mirrors.
I will
Okay.
join them in bashing mirrors.
I have no interest in being present when mirrors are being broken.
So you all are attempt to break these mirrors and striking them with your hands, your weapons, anything you could think of. Nothing seems to break them. They all appear to be hardened in some way and don't react or scratch at all to your attacks.
Okay. Boo, do you have mage hands? Can you drag the statue out of here magically?
How much does it weigh?
3 foot tall statue. I'd say it's probably like 20 pounds.
Yeah, no way. I'm not strong enough to lift it.
Clearly, the mirrors have something to do with it. Have we tried covering up the statue and taking it out of the room?
Oh, that's a good idea.
I'll take off my cloak.
Okay.
Is my cloak enough to cover the statue?
Let's see if that would be. Yeah, it is. It is pretty close to covering the statue. Like it doesn't quite reach all the way to the bottom. Like the bottom of the statue still sticks out, but it covers most of it.
We need more.
I'll give him my cloak too.
Okay.
And then can we kind of like use rope to make sure like our cloaks are cinched down and
Yeah, you can. You can like try to tighten those around there. Yeah, sure.
Better yet, let's drag the statue out of here. That way we're not in contact with it.
Okay. So yeah, so you managed to wrap these cloaks around this statue here and tie it all down. It seems to be all covered by the various things you put onto it. And so I assume at this point you guys try to take it out of the room.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So you three are trying to take this statue out. You get to the door, and as you step through the door, the statue you manage to get out, but the cloaks around the statue and everything that all three of you are wearing all teleport back to the middle of the room. Statue's out though.
Well, I think 2. It's just Mix and Blossom.
Or I guess is it just Mix and Blossom? Okay, so Mix and Blossom, all of your stuff. You find yourself standing in the doorway, holding the unicorn out to Jenku. Blossom, you don't really look any different aside from your. Well, I guess your cloak was already off. You're just your usual naked self, Blossom. Mix, you're back in your undergarments again. All your stuff is back in the middle of the room. But you got the statue out. So good job there.
Mix is gonna go pick up all of his stuff to pass out, and then try to run through the door in his undergarments.
I'm gonna watch
So
Mix and see if this works.
So you just like pick up all your stuff off the ground and try to run back out?
No, I'm gonna pick up all my stuff and shove it in my pack, and then throw my pack out the door to the party.
Oh, okay, I see. So you shove your various things into the pack, throw it across the room towards the door, and as it gets to the edge, the pack reappears at the center of the room. And each time this is happening, that the stuff goes back and reappears, this boisterous laughter just keeps echoing through this mirror chamber. Like every time this stuff goes back.
I don't understand the equation.
Yeah, do you guys, like, investigate the room
That's
at
why
all?
it didn't teleport the statue, it just teleported the cloaks that were around the statue.
I guess I'll investigate a little more.
Okay. Go ahead, Boo. Investigate it up.
Who's gonna try to, or Nick's just gonna try to run out in his undergarments, see if he can get out without his stuff.
You are able to get out the door in your undergarments. All your stuff's still in there, though. Boo, you investigate the room and kind of look around, and you see on the back of the door, so like this whole time you've had like this door swung open and it's just been open. But you kind of look at the back of the door, and there is an inscription on it that says, "Everything you see is mine."
So, exactly what I said.
Exactly what Zara said. Yes.
So Mix is gonna pick up his pack, walk back towards the door, and then close his eyes and walk out with his eyes closed.
Okay. All right. So you pick up your stuff and walk out the door. What are the other two of you that are in the room? What are you two doing?
Again, I'm just watching.
Okay.
Let's
So
see if we can figure this out.
sure. So you guys are watching Mix. He's walking out the door with his eyes closed, and his stuff teleports back to the middle of the room. Again, once he gets to the door. Again, boisterous laughter echoing throughout this room.
We gotta cover those mirrors somehow.
Oh no, it says everything you see is mine. So I'm gonna pick up my pack and be like, everybody turn their backs. And let me try this again. And close your eyes.
I'm gonna exit the room and face away from the door.
Okay. If you exit the room, your cape goes and disappears back to the middle of the room.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so as you try to exit the room, Blossom, you walk out. Your stuff teleports back to the middle. Mix, you have your stuff. Everybody's out. Everybody's got their back turns, eyes closed. You walk out of the room with your pack and manage to make it out with your stuff. So currently, the only thing that's in there is Blossom's cloak, sitting on the pedestal.
I'm gonna go back and grab his cloak and then come back out the same way.
Eyes closed, back turned. Sweet. Okay, so you grab that, get back out. You've managed to make it back out of this room with all of your stuff and the unicorn.
I'm gonna hand it to Blossom's cloak and start putting my clothes back on.
Thank you, Mix.
All right. Good job, you guys.
So
I was beginning to think you were taking up Blossom's way of life there, Mix.
I am far too beautiful for that. Everybody would be distracted all the time.
I'm gonna mention the giant treasure room to everyone.
Okay. What do you all do in reaction to Zara mentioning this room chock full of treasure?
Let's go investigate.
Yeah, let's go see if we can get money.
Because I have an idea about the riddle.
Okay. So yeah, so just to remind you, as you guys are all coming towards the door, you see the inscription over, which says, "Take only what you can truly afford."
What's the value of Troll Skull?
Well, so my thought was, what if each person only takes exactly what they currently have on them? So, for example, if you had 10 gold, 20 silver, 30 copper, you take exactly that from the room.
Next is gonna take his pack off and everything and walk in there and take 12 gold, 9 silver, and 7 copper and walk back out and see what happens.
Okay. So you walk in, grab a few coins, and walk back out of the door. And as you walk out of the door, you suddenly feel yourself very weighed down. It seems that these coins have been enchanted in some way, and you suddenly feel quite a bit of extra weight in your pockets from these. And as you walk out, you also a magic mouth appears on the wall across from the door, and says, "What did the greedy gold digger say? Mine, mine, mine. Looks like the loot's giving you the boot."
I don't like that. I'm not sure how else to interpret the riddle.
But I made it out, right?
You did make it out. You just are pretty weighed down right now.
I'm gonna drop what I made it out with and try it again. Like I'm gonna set it all on the ground.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing? Are you guys like investigating in this room at all, or what are you guys doing?
While he's testing all this out, I'm gonna go in the room and investigate.
Okay. Sarah, go ahead and investigate then, while Mix goes trying to grab some more coins here. Okay. So Zayara, as you're kind of looking around the room, from where you're standing, you kind of get a good angle on like the various stacks of coins that are on the floor, and you see that they read out all fake.
Okay. So I relay the information to Mix that I think that not only is the coin enchanted, but that it might be fake.
Well, it was worth a shot. I'll just drop them on the floor and walk back out.
Okay. So you walk back out without holding any coins here. Zara, do you take anything and as you leave the room?
Is it all just like random coins? There's nothing else in here?
Yeah, it's just coins and coins and coins everywhere, spilling out of chests and barrels and all over the floor and these stacks and everything.
Okay. Then I'm going to leave without grabbing anything or touching anything really.
Okay. So Zara, you walk back out of the room, and this magic mouth appears on the wall in front of you and says, "I suppose it all makes sense now, doesn't it?" And you kind of feel this kind of a pleasant feeling upon yourself, and you are now affected by the bless spell.
Nice.
How do I apply something like that?
Quick and dirty would be find your cleric. So Zyara, I think, has bless in their spell list. Go to the spells, add bless as part of Zyara's spells, or if somebody has bless in their spell list, speak up now. Then you would just use that effect, you know.
Oh,
you
good
would
call.
add it to the proper people, and then you'd pull it back off of their spell list if you had added it.
Oh, okay, that's a good call.
The long term way of doing this is for you to quickly make a new character and add bless to it, and just name that character like spell effects. I have a character that I grab in each game that just has the spell effects that I've found myself needing.
Okay. So Zara, you are now blessed. So, with that, it looks like it is pretty much 11:30 here, so that'll probably be a good place to stop. You have the unicorn in your possession, but there's still many more things in here to explore and potentially loot.
Yeah, there's got to be real gold in here.
All right. Good job figuring out the mirror puzzle with the unicorn. Nice job. We'll see you guys all next time. Let me stop the stream here. Bye.